everybody, welcome to our Psychic Stay Zoom from home. Today I've got the lovely Psychic Ellen and the lovely Sarah May, and I'm Ophelia Dennis, your presenter. And we're going to be talking about something that's close to my heart. Actually, it's not close to my heart. Revenge. I don't want to sound cold-hearted or anything like that, but we're going to be talking about revenge because you know what? Sometimes when people do you wrong, you know, people might do something that you don't like. You think, oh, I just wish that they would be able to feel how they've made me feel. So we're going to be talking about this with the lovely Sarah May. Hi, Sarah May.
Hello, lovely. Hello, everybody. How are we doing?
Hello, we're good. And hello to Psychic Ellen. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Hey, we are good. So it got me thinking, we touched upon this a little bit on the show, actually on Saturday night when I was in the studio, because one of our viewers sent a text in, and it got me thinking that, so I basically got ghosted by a guy. I was going to call him a gentleman, but he's not actually, he's a coward. We went on a few dates. Nothing really happened, but I just didn't hear from him again for a couple of months. And then he just wanted to text me out of the blue. And I was like, I don't think so. You don't treat people like this. Do you know what I mean? But at the time when I didn't hear from him, I didn't know I was being ghosted. So one of our Miss P's was like, what's happened? I said, you know what? We were talking on the Wednesday on my break on the show. And then on Thursday, there was nothing. I called him. He didn't answer the phone. I messaged him. He didn't answer the phone, but he'd seen the message. She was like, babe, he's ghosting you. I'm like, what does that mean? I don't know what this means. Like, I've been in a relationship. What does it mean? She was like, when someone just cuts contact. And it was such a cowardly act. And he didn't say anything for months. And months later, he texted and said, oh, you know, sorry, I was really busy. And I was like, whatever. But in that time of not knowing, there was a lot of self-doubt for myself. Like, oh my gosh, have I done something wrong? Is he okay? Has something happened to him? You know, what's going on? Did I say something? There was all of that and anger. And I wanted to, I'll be honest with you, I wanted to send his dad a message on Instagram and tell him that he's a coward. My friend said, Ophelia, don't do that. I don't regret not doing it, but I might have regretted doing it if I did it. So, Sarah May, what do you think about revenge? Because that would have made me feel better at the time if I'd done that. Let his dad know that he's a coward.
I think it'd be better to tell his mum.
She was on Instagram. She was on Insta. That's the thing, yeah. She wasn't there, yeah.
I do wonder if anybody messaged me about one of my boys and said something like that. I think I'd just titter. I think, yeah. I mean, I think, I wouldn't get involved.
Really badly. But if she was like, you know what, you really upset me, you know, and I just feel that you know, he spoke very highly of his parents. So I thought, you know what, they obviously raised him better than this. They just don't know what he's up to. So I just thought, obviously I didn't do it. And like I say, my friend was like, don't do it. But I don't regret not doing it. But like I said, I probably would have regretted it if I probably would maybe feel a bit stupid now. Or would I? If his dad had a word with him. Because you don't treat people like that. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe the thing is, if he wasn't aligning, if something was going on, maybe he'd hopped onto somebody else and he's thought, well, I'll give that a rest now and I'll come back. You just don't know what's going on, but you would worry because you don't hear anything. But if you haven't known somebody for a long period of time, you just don't know them. You just don't know that person. And my big thing here for you always is in life is actions. It's not what they're saying, it's what they're doing. Exactly. So I would think to myself, first of all, I'd do exactly what you were doing, worry and think what's gone wrong. It takes about a week for you to get over that. And then you're like, right, okay, fine, I'm moving on. Not for me. So you move your energy on. So you decide, even though they've treated you that way, you decide, right, I've given you a go. You've not treated me very well. You're not for me. I'm off. Yeah. And then when he comes back, he's got no chance.
I was like, I didn't reply to the message when he, like 2 months later.
No excuse.
Exactly. Psychic Ellen, for me, all that would have, like, you know, made this situation better was if he just said, you know what, thank you, but I'm not interested. I've had that when I've been on dates, and you know what, I feel like I'm not connecting with them. So I'll politely just message them or say, you know what, thank you so much for your time, but I just don't think we're compatible. So they know where they are, and it's just polite and respectful. I've never, ever just ignored somebody that is trying to contact me. So Psychic Ellen, it's communication. We talk about it a lot on the show. This is what made me want revenge, because hang on a minute, you're going to ignore me, Ophelia Dennis? I don't think so. So I was like, this is not on. What are you doing? So, you know, and obviously communication stopped, and we talk about how important, because you just know where you are sometimes if someone just lets you know, and it doesn't take a lot. But if you're a coward, like he was, then I guess that's the easiest way maybe to detach from a situation without having to confront it maybe.
Well, do you know what? It's kind of funny because I've had both sides of that story, shall we say, in my younger years. And I'm going to put my hand and fess up to this. In my early 20s, a male once crossed me, and I was dating him for quite some time, and we went away. And then I found out that he'd taken somebody else the week before to the same place we were staying.
Oh dear.
And I didn't know about the other person, so I actually took all this person's clothes and drove their car home and left them there. Whoops! And that was me getting my revenge at the time, which I drove back and I'm like, yes, this is amazing. You know, because I'd left somebody stranded with no clothes.
Love that.
With hindsight, now I'm that bit older and wiser, perhaps it actually didn't serve any purpose at all. Yeah, it's given me a few laughs along the way when I reflect back at it, but it was absolutely a bit of a waste of my energy. I could have been doing something far more productive at that time. So for me, I've learned now to control that reaction to situations, and to literally go, it's their problem, and push that energy away. So it's kind of, yeah, I've learned through experience, shall we say.
Sarah, I love that. Sarah May, have you done any acts of revenge? Like just like, not obviously anything mean, but have you done any kind of acts of revenge? Like, Sarah, but the thing for me, it's like, Ellen, in that moment, you must have, you know what I mean? You enjoyed it for short term. As you got older, you thought, actually, it's a waste of my energy. Exactly. Sarah, you must have done something in your time.
I'm perfect.
I know, in every way. Oh, no. I was blood. I'm stoned.
I don't let people ruffle me. I might say a few words. Words can be a bit cutting, and you know what kind of words to say and use. But I've always dragged my energy away from negativity, and I think the best thing you can do is block and freeze. Just block and freeze. That's it. Go away. I'm moving on, because otherwise you're going to fester. And you'll hold on to stuff, and it'll affect you moving forwards. Yeah. And this boy, he might have been chatting to you, and then started chatting to somebody else, thinking, I quite like Ophelia. I'm just going to hold her on a bit, and then I'll come back to you if it doesn't work out with this one. And that's the thing about your dating sites, isn't it? If it was a dating site, you know, you've got to kind of feel your way as to how you get on. You might fall in love with somebody in 2 weeks, and then they do something, and you're like, oh no. Do you know what I mean? So it's very, very early days. Ghosting isn't very nice, but maybe he wanted to come back, and he obviously did, because he did come back.
Yeah.
So something didn't work out. But maybe he'd have been talking to somebody just before you came along, and he's thinking, oh, she's nice, but I need to find out where I'm going with this one. And then there's other guys out there that would just date 10, 15 women, and there's women out there that would do it as well. So it feels like he held you off. And then he came back. He took a chance, but he took a chance with the wrong person. So
he did indeed.
Yes.
I do you know what? I'm kind of glad maybe I didn't, you know, have used the acts of revenge, because, do you know what I mean? He did come back, but I didn't want him back. But then it's just not very nice, I guess, to be in that and to do it as well. And I think I learned a lesson in that. That made me realise that I would never ever treat anyone like that. Not that I had done before, but I would never do that to somebody. But I always will let people, and to be fair, it's not just relationship. Friends can ghost you, like people, you know, workplaces, you know, you're waiting to hear back from someone, you never hear back. But I've got an article here, and Suzanne says that she dated a guy who would always take her car and chat with other girls, and then so she found out he was doing that. So what she did is that she cut up all his clothes and then started dating his dad. And it says here that made Sunday dinner very awkward. Now that is going too far out for me. Maybe his dad was a hottie, I don't know, but that is just a whole nother level of just trying to shame someone. And I just think, then Suzanne, bless you, you might look like the one that's got a problem here, because you're dating the son. And I know he was bad to you, but then you're dating his dad. No, wait, his dad's probably quite bad as well. Actually, to be fair, who's the wrong one in that situation? Who was wrong in that situation, that scenario? Psychic, Sarah May.
Everybody.
All of them.
Everybody's playing. Nobody's taking it seriously. How on earth, if you've got those kind of mentalities with all three of them, are you going to have a relationship with trust, faith, and longevity? It was fun. It was a bit of fun, and that's about it. Yeah. And you know, sometimes rejection's a big thing, isn't it? It's like it really hurts, and we react really quickly with rejection. So some people might react and not think about what they're doing, and then think afterwards, oh dear. Really, it's just about understanding where you're at in a situation and driving yourself into it or away from it. Choosing, you know, but everybody was wrong in that situation. Quite funny though.
Yeah, I know it is. It's like, Ellen, what do you make of that story? Who would you say is in the wrong there? Would you say the girl getting revenge, the dad for dating the girl, you know, or the? I mean, yeah, it's just a mess, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm actually sat here trying to compose myself, not laughing, because all that's going through my head is, can you imagine what the wedding speeches would be like if
Oh
they
yeah.
got? Because my brain's going, right, this is my son-in-law that I once dated too, and everybody's just going to go, eh?
Yeah,
It's
right.
one
It's
of those
like,
extreme situations, isn't it? It's like, how does that even happen?
I mean, yeah,
That's a certain type
would
of
the
people.
son, would the son be? Do you know what I mean? Best man at
Yeah.
his wedding with his ex-girlfriend. It's just, it's crazy. But yeah. But I mean, to be fair, I think the best acts of revenge for me, and I think this is my wise head now. You know what? Getting on with your life, being happy, you know,
Happy.
and just getting on with it. Does that bother people that have done you wrong if they see you doing well? Why is that saying? Why do you think that saying is there? You know, do they see that? Does it make them feel like they've missed out on a good person? You know, what does that mean when they see you doing well, Sarah May, if they care?
Miffed. They're miffed. It's the good word for that. It's almost like, oh, that, you know, oh, hold on, they're moving on. They don't care. I didn't have that effect anyway. You know, when you come out of a relationship, you still want to be loved and cared for, don't you? Almost like you're really important. But even if you turn away from it, and you're moving in a different direction. So it is a very strong, powerful thing to be and do, to just be happy, be free, be confident, and choose. And I think most people would look and think, oh, what's going on there then? So yeah, but that's their loss.
Yeah, exactly. And what do you think, Psychic Ellen?
Do you know what? It's one of these, isn't it? Past experience, I hate to say it, but they really dislike it when you go off and you do well for yourself, because it kind of knocks their confidence in a way, because their mind will tell them, yes, that person can't function without me. And then they watch you go off and do well for yourself and their world falls apart, because you've just proved that point that confidence comes from within the person as an individual on each person, you know. So it's not a partner that gives you confidence, is it? But when they watch you do well, when they kind of stood on the background, they do find it a bit earth-shattering.
Yeah. No,
you know, it's kind of, it's like, oh, she's doing better off without me or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't have that effect on her. Yeah. I was actually reading as well, and they were talking about it on one of the programs on daytime TV about this lady. So you know the McDonald's drive-through, obviously other restaurant chains available. So she was driving the drive-through, and she was taking a little long with her order, and the woman behind her was bibbing like, "Oh, hurry up, hurry up!" So what she did, she didn't react to the lady. What she did is, when she got to the next window where you pay, she paid for hers and the lady behind, because you speak first, you drive on, then you pay. So what she did, as an act of kindness, to not get caught up in this situation, she thought, you know what, I'm gonna kill this lady with kindness. So she paid for the lady behind her's meal, and she drove forward. So the lady behind her is driven forward to pay for her meal, the mean one. And the person said, oh, the lady in the car in front has paid for your meal. And she was like, oh, that's lovely. That's nice of her, considering, she was honking a horn. So when she got to pick up her food that she thought the lady in front had paid for, the lady took her food and the woman's food she paid for behind her. So she had to drive all the way around again. And the woman said that was like a slap in the face, because she thought she was being nice to her. So you can't, did you follow that story there, Sarah May? You look puzzled.
Yeah.
Did you get that? Yeah.
I'm listening, I'm watching.
Okay, cool. So
that's the normal face.
Yeah, cool. So she literally said, you know what? I just had to show her that you can't be mean to people. So she actually paid for her food, got to pick up the collection, picked up her own food and the lady's food behind her that she paid for, leaving the lady behind in a really upset and having to drive around again. That is revenge. That's funny, but that's also quite calculating, I think, as well.
I think that's good, because she got herself out of the way. She made the lady feel it. She felt it. So she didn't shout at her, because if you're shouting, it's beep, 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 shouting, swearing. I'm going to go getting out fisticuffs. Nobody's going to win with that. So she did something that made the lady feel it. And and the lady there's no comeback with that, because she had to experience it. So I think that's a good one.
She has to go all
I don't
the way
like
back.
Nasty people.
I know, she has to go all the way back around the drive-thru again to remake her order, to go get her food. Psychic Ellen, that sounds like something you would have done in your 20s after your last story.
Hey, to say it, that sounds like I do something I do now. Let's face it. My goodness me, that was a fantastic lesson in patience. So hats off to that lady for coming
I
up.
would have thought, was that not calculating though? See, I would have thought of that. Okay, I need to get this woman back behind me. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna act all nice, pay for her food at the window. So she thinks I'm being overly nice. You know, she did wave and say, "Oh my gosh, thank you." The woman was like, "Yeah, no probs, no probs. Pick up your food after I get mine." And she picked up both meals. And then the lady was like, "Oh my goodness." So obviously she had to go back round again. But then that taught her a lesson: patience. Like you've got to now go back and sit in the queue all over again. Yeah, I would have been that quick, but I do think now, as I'm older, I'm. Do you think people that take revenge are spiteful? Is there a spitefulness in there? Would you say, Sarah May?
Oh, it's a difficult one, really difficult one, because the person, an eye for an eye in some respects, isn't it, Faye?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? The person that did something really bad gets away with it and walks scot-free and leaves everybody really hurt. So there's got to be, you've got to do something yourself to feel like you stuck up for yourself. Mm-hmm. For me, it's just ignore and move away. But I don't. I think in some senses it can be very spiteful and dangerous, and it comes back on you because of what you're doing. So you're not cancelling something out, you're making something worse. But in the other respect, if somebody's been really unkind and nasty to you, you've got to pull them up.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I agree.
And they need to know, sorry, you're not messing with me. And what you did was wrong. I don't accept it. And you need to recognise that. So, you know, Yeah,
I think calling someone out on something is better than necessarily taking revenge. What's your thoughts, Psychic Ellen?
Do you know what? It's kind of funny because you don't go out of your way to get revenge on somebody. But you've got to look a different way sometimes, depending on what's been done to that person. It causes a knee-jerk reaction, and it usually comes from a place of how much they've been hurt. So it comes from a place of hurting so badly. Now, each circumstance is different, I will say that. But, you know, it's their way of voicing how it's made them feel. So in some respects, if you get two people in a room and they can communicate, absolutely great, problem resolved. But human nature doesn't work like that, does it?
No, absolutely.
Everybody has trigger points, and it's whatever that individual person's trigger points are that will play out the situation that they're dealt with. So I think the older you get, the wiser you get, and you learn to compose those reactions.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, I had a situation when I first started presenting, actually, my first job, and the girl, she wasn't very nice. Like, she'd been there, a couple of years before me, and we had to like write kind of ideas for the show, like games and stuff, and she passed off my work as her own. I didn't call her up on it. I wanted to cut up her work, but I'm not that girl. I'm not that girl.
You like cutting things up?
Yeah, in my head. But like in my head, I want to just cut, and I didn't. I just thought, I don't know what I could do, and all I actually did was better at my job. She left. I saw her some years later. She was no longer doing presenting, and she was saying, "Oh, Ophelia, is there any way you can help me?" Typically, if there has been anybody else, I would have done it. But I thought, you know what? You were so mean to me when you were higher up than me when I first started, and now I'm seeing you in the toilets of a nightclub, and you're not presenting anymore. You really want to get back into it. You've seen on my Instagram, you're like, "Oh, could you put in a word at your job?" And I just thought, I said, "No, sorry, I can't." I said to her, "No, sorry, I can't, but I wish you the best." Anybody else, I would have done it. Do you know what I mean? But I just thought, you were so mean to me. And that almost felt like revenge. Because you know what? You're not a nice person. The people that I work with are nice people. I'm not bringing your energy into where I work. And I don't know a couple of years later if you're still that same person. So as much as I felt really quite, not smug, but I was thinking, you know what? I just stayed true to myself all these years. I've worked hard. I didn't do anything, nasty to you, even though you were nasty to me. But when I saw you years later, you needed me, and you were really quite mean to me when I was starting out. And I just thought, see, now you're not happy. But is that mean on me to be like, so you're not happy, and not to help her? Because we should help people. So Sarah May, was I wrong to leave her in the toilets in the nightclub with her cocktail?
No, you were absolutely right. I do exactly the same. I get it in weeks. Ellen will get it as well. You work really hard, and then somebody's going to pinch your workshop or da-da-da. So the way I do it is everything I do is authentic and real, and it's me. Okay, we plagiarise, we see things, but I just remorph myself and change all the time. But if somebody came to me who'd done the dirty on me and asked me for help, I'd just look at them and say, okay, fine, and not do it. So I'd be looking in the face and say, because I don't want the trouble, to be honest with you. But I do exactly the same as you. Because I don't want to bring trouble upon myself. My energy is that I'm true, authentic person, come from the heart, really care about everybody. And I grow my tribe of people around me. So the people who come around me have to be like me. And I'm happy then. There's a lovely balance. So if anybody comes in who's a taker or a user, or if anything happens where somebody's done something to me, you watch, and this is what you did, you watch down the line, and they don't get anywhere. They just don't get anywhere. So it will all play out in its own way anyway. If they came back and asked me for help, it would be no.
Yeah.
So you're definitely right. That isn't revenge. That is respecting yourself and not being treated badly by other people.
Absolutely. So Psychic Ellen, I wasn't the mean girl there. I did feel like, oh, you know what, Ophelia, let it go. But I'd held on to this for years, and just to bump into her and first, oh, actually, you're at this new channel now, which is our channel. Oh, like, how did you do that? Like, are they looking for anyone? I was just like, no, sorry. So I wasn't a mean girl, Psychic Ellen.
I don't blame you, because funny enough, I'm picking up a theme with our little chat. So far, we've had how many life lessons? We've had patience. Two that you've had in that scenario is, the first one is trust. She brings trust, because you always go in with a good heart and you're very trusting of everybody, much like most of us are. We go in with a good heart and we want to give to everybody the way we are. You know, we welcome people. But she broke your trust in a nutshell. But the good point is, when you saw her a few years later, you'd actually learned your boundaries. So well done for learning that lesson so quick. So
and she did apologise. She did not apologise for stealing my work. And I wanted to bring it up to her in the toilets. I thought, you know what? We're 3 or 4 years down the line. There's no point bringing it up. You stole my work. You passed off as your own. You got a well done at the time because the bosses thought it was an amazing idea, even though it wasn't yours. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to bring it up. You know, I've had too many Prosecco's anyway. I'm not going to bring it up in the toilets. I just want to do my makeup and go back out and dance with my friends. Nice to see you. I wish you well, but I can't help you. Love and light. I
love the love and light on the end.
You won't change somebody like that, Fee. You've got to look at their mentality and what they're doing and how they're behaving. So if they've behaved that way, they've been wrong. Are they going to admit it? I doubt it. I doubt it. And even if you know it's the truth and you say to their face, they'll probably deny it anyway.
Absolutely.
So it's just walk away.
Exactly. Especially the toilets in a nightclub in Soho when we're all out. Yeah, I don't think
dancing time. So important to do your dancing.
Absolutely. So we've got to wrap up soon, but can we get a tip for maybe anybody that's out there, maybe that's, you know, not feeling as positive, maybe someone's done something to them, maybe knock their confidence a little bit. Just give them a tip, Sarah May.
I love you.
Oh!
So it's about going around, go to the people that love you. Go to the people that you know have got your back completely. Go back into yourself and just grow your confidence. Dancing's so good, Fee. I dance in the night before I go to bed, and it moves all my moods and my energy. So whatever mood I've had in the day, dance before you go to bed, get your earphones in, sing and dance, and that will disperse whatever's happened to you in the day. And leave it in the day. Try not to carry it forwards.
Absolutely. So, Kellen, any words for anybody out there that's had a little bit of a confidence knock? Maybe someone's, you know, nicked their work, or maybe ghosted them, or maybe someone's a bit mean.
You know what? My little bit of confidence is for, you know, for everybody, because we've all been guilty of this at some point in life.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Never change for anybody, and just keep being you, because the most important person in your life is you. The only one you have to please is you. So focus on what you want to do and the way you want to do it, and you won't go far wrong in life then, in all fairness.
Oh, thank you. And I want to send a little bit of love to everybody. I've got a rose quartz love heart here, and I've got lip gloss as well, same colour, but I can't send lip gloss. So I'm going to send lots of love and light to everyone, and you too. Thank you so much for talking to me today. It's been fun. Have you enjoyed it?
Loved it. Always do, Fee.
Oh, thank you.
And nice to see you, Ellen.
Yeah, and Sarah's been absolutely fantastic. Lovely to see both of you this afternoon.
And thank you so much for coming and joining me. We're hopefully going to be doing some more of this. Viewers, thank you so much. And if you want to have a watch of everything we're doing on the show, we're always putting out content for you. Sometimes we're live, sometimes it's pre-recorded. There's always something for you on Psychic Today. If you really enjoyed that video, hit like below and subscribe.